Hey guys, Bird Yu-Gi-Oh here. So today I wanted to show you a deck that I've been messing around with a lot lately. It's a Trap Eldlich Dogmatica deck. Very, very trap heavy. That's basically the deck. It's kind of in between like meta and rogue. It's one of those decks that you won't see a lot of at like your locals. But people will somehow they think they know the deck and they're like, well, why aren't you playing this Dogmatica card, or why aren't you playing that Eldlich card, or whatever. And I have to clarify that it's a trap deck that just happens to play some Dogmatica cards and some Eldlich cards. Quite a few more Eldlich you'll see. But yeah, it's a very fun deck. I feel it's one that you can pick up and play pretty easily because it's mostly traps. But you have to know what you're playing against, basically like the current meta, or certain decks, like what cards to hit with like a torrential tribute and stuff like that. So it's a little tricky deck. It's one that I have not even close to mastered yet, but I do like it a lot. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting off with basically the only normal summon in the deck, Inspector Border. You could play really any kind of normal summon card here, like a Thunder King Ryo, or other cards like that. So, but this is definitely one that is very good right now. There's a lot of decks that need all of their monster effects to go off, and this will just kind of shut them down. And then we're playing two Eldlich, the Golden Lord. You definitely do not want to draw this card, and when I played this deck at my locals, I drew both of them in my opening hand against a Tri-Brigade deck, and lost pretty bad. It's not a brick in your hand, but it gets rid of your traps that you really need. So you really just need this in the deck to special summon off of your traps, basically. And then I play just one Dogmatica Ecclesia. It's another one I really don't ever want to have in my hand. It's way better to just special summon this than it is to normal summon it. That's the bottom line with that one. So going first, you really don't want to see this, but going second, obviously you're usually going to be able to special summon it, so it's good for that. And obviously getting your Dogmatica traps or other cards if you're playing them. But that's it for the monsters. So it was a little rough for me to not play any hand traps, but the traps in this deck really make up for that. So, and then for draw power, I had to get Pot of Extravagance. It's one of those cards that I felt I could use in a lot of decks that I play, so I felt it was a good investment. It's had 3 reprints, so I think they're about $30 a piece. So it's one, again, I felt I should splurge on because of all the different decks that I could put this in, that it would help out. And it's just a really good draw card. And then playing 2 Pot of Duality. You obviously don't want to see this as much as this one, so that's why you play that. And again, you're not really special summoning much, so this is just hopefully just getting you some powerful traps. Cutter Demise, same kind of idea. And again, with most of, especially like your Eldlich, you're fine discarding those to the grave. You'd rather have them in grave or your deck than in your hand. So Cutter Demise won't really hurt you that bad if you have to discard like a Eldlich. And then I decided to play a Called by the Grave, just one of those cards that helps you with your draw cards here, from not getting ashed, and then it can also be good as like a pseudo trap card. So that's it for the spells. So obviously the rest of the deck is now going to be traps. So for the Eldlich traps, we're playing 3 Scarlet Sanguine. That's the main reason we want our Eldlich in the deck or the grave, is so that you can special summon it off of this. Get you a nice little big body monster on there. 3 Conquistador. This will allow you to destroy a face-up card on the field if you special summon this. Good card, very good card. And then they all can banish themselves from the graveyard to then search, either a Golden Land card or a Elixir card. And then 2 Haquero. This is actually, it's usually the one that I will side out at least one of them. It's got good attack, 1800 attack, but this one, if you special summon it and you control the Eldlich Golden Lord, you can banish one card from either graveyard. So that sometimes is a nice little interruption there. And then for the Dogmatica traps, you're of course playing 3 punishment. It's the best card of the deck, basically, at least in the main deck. I'll show you a few cards in the side deck just to give you an idea. But yeah, this card is absolutely amazing. And then for board wipes, 3 Torrential Tribute, very, very good, because mostly, again, I mean, these are all the monsters you're playing, so you're mostly going to have a clear field, which is 5 set back row, so Torrential Tribute comes up quite a bit. And so against most meta, I felt I needed a second board wipe option at least. 2 Needle Sealing, it's just when there are 4 more monsters on the field, you destroy all face-up monsters. So against certain combo decks, they will get 4 monsters on the field very easily. So that's sometimes kind of nice. 2 Dino Miscus, this is really nice. It's again another trap that can special summon itself to the field. But mostly you're going to discard a card and just banish 1 face-up card on the field, which is really nice, banishing it instead of destroying it or whatever. And then just 1 Trap Trick. Again, kind of my same opinion with this card. I would rather see any of these traps over Trap Trick, but it gives you that, flex option of being able to go for a punishment if you want it, or a Dino Miscus, or a Torrential Tribute. Just gives you a little more flexibility with that single card. So it's definitely a nice card to have. You can up it to 2 if you want. I would never play it at 3, but 2 is not bad either if you decide to go that route. And then for just some really, really powerful traps, 3 Judgment, 3 Solemn Strike, and then 1 Skill Drain, and 1 Imperial Order. These 8 cards are probably the strongest trap cards in the game. None of them are searchable by Trap Trick is the only thing. And obviously, if you're worried about going into time, you will want to take out at least your Judgments, because you won't want to lose all those life points. But it comes up, negate a lot of stuff. So that's the main deck. And the extra deck, I play 2 Entis, probably should be 3. It never came up for me though, where I was missing one. Because you banish them off of your Pot of Extravagance. Again, never came up, but probably should be at 3. Just a really good target for your Dogmatica punishment. And then 2 Titanclad. I play a lot of 2-ofs. Just to kind of help with maybe being able to see one, because this one during the end phase, if this is in the graveyard because it was sent there, you can add to your hand or special summon a Dogmatica monster. So that's your way of special summoning your Ecclesia during the end phase and then searching out that trap. Really nice. And then the only other 2-of that I'm playing is Cambroster. This is again another card that I like to see. You don't get to it as often as you can because its attack is only 1200. So with Dogmatica Punishment, you're not going to be able to get to this as easily or get this to the graveyard, because that's all you're doing is getting this to the graveyard. You're not making this with your Dino Miscus. That's not why you play this. You just want it in the graveyard because if a set card you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can just banish this from your graveyard instead. So really good protection, obviously, against cards like, Heavy Storm Duster, or really any cards that are just destroying your back row or trying to. And then we're playing the 1 Fergite. This is going to allow you to fix your hands, occasionally draw a card, then place 1 card on the bottom of the deck. Wind Pegasus. This, when a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can just banish this, and then you can target a card your opponent controls and shuffle it into the deck. So it's kind of like a 1-for-1 trade, but it's shuffling into the deck, so that's really powerful and comes up every now and then. And then Omega is kind of the last, I guess, Dogmatica target. All the monsters you're going to be sending to the grave from your extra deck. This one just allows you to, usually it's going to be shuffling, for me, like a Entis back into the deck, or into the extra deck, but you can shuffle back whatever you need. And then for, so in our side deck, we're playing Waking the Dragon, so I'm playing Warrior from Another Planet, and then Ultimate Falcon are just two really good targets for Waking the Dragon. And then the only cards that we really go into are potentially like a Link Spider. That's usually to get our traps that you special summon to just easily get them to the grave to then get their search effects off. Hippo Shinigin, most of our monsters are, or all of our monsters that we play in the main deck are light. And then Pleiades is again another one. If you special summon like a Conquistador and a Haquero, they're level 5. So it's just something you can make that is problematic for your opponent. And then I just threw in a AA Zeus, just in case you get to a battle with Pleiades, then you can overlay that on it. But honestly, this should probably be an Entis, and then should probably play the Lina. What is that card? Yeah, Selene. So you should probably play like Lina and then go into Selene. Selene will special summon, and then you can go into access code. I don't have an access code, so this is kind of what I'm playing, but it worked. You really don't go into it very much. There was one time playing this deck that would have helped me and potentially won me the game, but otherwise it doesn't really come up. And then just a few cards in the extra deck to show you. By far the best cards in your side deck. Best cards in the side deck are Nadir Servant and then your Dogmatica Maximus. These are best going second. That's why we don't play them in the main deck. Yeah, you basically just destroy boards with this. Really nice little combination there. And then also Heavy Storm Duster is an important one against other back row decks. And then, of course, the 3 Waking the Dragon come up a lot. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. It is, like I said, it's one of like the more kind of, I guess, meta decks that I'm currently playing. Very trap heavy. Again, it's got I think a steep learning curve. Mostly just learning matchups and when to do certain traps, when it would be most beneficial. That's probably the biggest thing with this deck. Otherwise, it's pretty simple. It's fairly cheap. Obviously, the extravagance are your only card that's going to be really expensive. Otherwise, it's not too bad, especially for a deck that's this powerful. But yeah, check it out. Play it, maybe test it out online. It's very fun, very control-y. Obviously, you're going to be setting 4 or 5 most of the time, but check it out. Let me know what you think, and we will catch you on the next one.